virtual creative factory in Colorado.
All right, today we're talking about one of the all-time greats in storytelling, the outlaw. You know the type, right? From Robin Hood to Katniss Everdeen, there's just something about them we can't resist. They're the ones who look at authority and say, nope. They break the rules, live by their own principles. They're the misfits, the rebels, the people who just refuse to be put in a box. But here's a twist for you. What happens when that classic rebellious figure isn't human at all? That's the question we're diving into today, and we're going to see how this very human story plays out with one of nature's most iconic and controversial predators at the center of it all. So to really get the outlaw, you have to understand their world. And let me tell you, it is never simple. It's a world built on stark, dramatic contrasts. Think about it. To the establishment, the people in charge, the outlaw is a menace, right? A criminal, a threat who's got to be stopped. But for the people who are being pushed around, the powerless, they see a totally different picture. They see a hero, a champion, maybe even a savior. The outlaw's identity is never set in stone. It's always caught between these two powerful, opposing viewpoints. You know, there's actually a fantastic word for this from the art world, chiaroscuro. It's that technique where artists use super strong contrast between light and dark. It creates all this drama and tension. And honestly, it's the perfect way to think about the outlaw's world, this constant, fierce battle between light and shadow. And this is what that world can look like. This incredible photo from the Serra Pelada gold mine in Brazil. Just look at it. You can almost feel the oppression, the harshness. It's exactly these kinds of environments where the system feels broken or cruel. That's where an outlaw is born.
Okay, so what's the difference between a legendary outlaw and, just some random criminal? It all comes down to one thing, their code.
See, the outlaw hero, they're not just in it for themselves. They're playing a different game. They break the rules, yeah, but they do it because the rules are unjust. They stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves. That code, those principles, that's what turns a rebel into a legend.
And because of this code, their story is always up for debate. You know the saying, history is written by the victors? Well, folklore, that's kept alive by the people. So whether someone is remembered as a hero or a villain, it really depends on who's telling the tale.
All right, so keep all that in your head. The hero, the villain, the code. Because now we're going to apply it to an outlaw that's making a big comeback in the American West. And believe me, this isn't just a metaphor. The connection is ancient. Get this. In Old Norse, the word varg meant two things at the same time, wolf and outlaw. If you were declared a varg, you were kicked out of society, forced to live in the wild, outside the law, just like a wolf. It's literally built right into our language. And this story isn't just from some ancient saga. It happened right here in the United States. For decades, wolves were hunted down, almost completely wiped out. By 1926, they were basically gone from the lower 48 states, literally outlawed from the land itself. But then, the story changed. The Endangered Species Act in '74 paved the way. We saw them return to Yellowstone in '95, and now, today, in 2024, they're back in Colorado. The outlaw has returned. And just like in the old stories, their return has kicked off a major feud. A modern-day battle that looks a lot like those classic outlaw tales. It's the same exact dynamic. To one group, the wolf is a hero, a symbol of a wild, restored ecosystem, a way to right a past wrong. But to another group, it's a villain, a real, tangible threat to their property, their animals, their entire way of life. The battle lines are drawn, just like they were for any legendary outlaw. And this isn't just a feeling, we've got the data to prove it. Take a look at this chart. When you ask ranchers how they feel about wolves, the answer is, well, it's overwhelmingly negative. For them, this isn't some romantic idea, it's a direct threat. So what's behind this huge split in opinion? This quote from a study in Spain, where they're having the exact same debate, by the way, it just nails the problem perfectly. It's a clash between two completely different ways of seeing the world. Let's break it down. For a lot of people in cities, the view is romantic. The wolf is a beautiful symbol of the wild, a crucial piece of the ecological puzzle. But for folks in rural areas, especially ranchers, the view is way more pragmatic. It's about their livelihood. The wolf is a predator. It's that chiaroscuro we talked about, right? A stark black and white contrast in how people see the exact same thing. So how on earth do you solve a problem like that?
Well, Colorado is trying something very practical. They're offering to pay ranchers for any livestock they lose to wolves, up to $15,000 for each animal. It's an attempt to find some middle ground, to acknowledge that living with an outlaw comes at a real cost.
In the end, this whole story, like any good outlaw story, isn't really about a simple hero or a simple villain. The truth, as it usually is, lives somewhere in the gray area.
The wolf is so much more than just an animal at this point. It's become a symbol that makes us look at our own values. This whole debate, it's really a debate about what we want our world to look like. Do we want a wild, untamed land or a managed, productive one? And who gets to decide? Who pays the price?
And that brings us right back to chiaroscuro. Look at this incredible photo by Ansel Adams, the Tetons and the Snake River, the very heart of the American West. You see that dramatic clash of light and shadow? The land itself is a world of contrast. It's the perfect stage for a complicated story like this, the story of an outlaw's return.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. The outlaw archetype. It never gets old, right? Because the conflicts that create it, between the powerful and the marginalized, between the rules and what's right, those never really go away. They just change shape. So it makes you think, if a wolf can be an outlaw today, who else fits that description?
Sus sombras bailan lento, lento, en la tierra roja del olvido, donde el eco no ha nacido, el cielo se rompe.